All right, let's head back to Cape Town for more reaction to the news that the Cape Town Magistrates Court has reversed a decision to send alleged Parliament arsonist Zandile Mafe to Valkenberg Psychiatric Hospital. He will be released tomorrow into an ordinary correctional services facility, but bearing in mind that he has COVID-19, likely to a hospital unit. I'm joined once more by our reporter Ayesha Ismail. Hello again, Ayesha. What can you tell us?
Hello, Sally. I'm just going to go straight into this interview now with Zandile Mafe's attorney, Luvuyo Godla. Mr. Godla, you must be very happy with the court's ruling today.
I am very happy at least today, and I can say today that wheels of justice are grinding even faster.
So the judge president ruled that the referral made by the magistrate the other day was unlawful and therefore unconstitutional, and meaning that Mr. Mafe must be released from Valkenberg Psychiatric Hospital with immediate effect.
That is correct. If there is that order now, he will have to be removed, and he is unlawful as we speak in Valkenberg Hospital. He must be remanded to Pollsmoor and detained at Pollsmoor like any other inmate.
So what now happens to Mr. Mafe's psychiatric situation with regards to his mental capacity to follow proceedings and to understand and appreciate what is being said in court?
If you followed here in court, Ayesha, our main complaint and what has been said in court was to confirm our main complaint. Our main complaint was that you can't simply look at the person and you say the person has got a mental problem. There is a procedure that should be followed. Criminal Procedure Act says everyone is presumed not to have a mental problem. Everyone is presumed not to have a mental problem, meaning that everyone is sane, everyone does not have any problem. And it goes with some sections as well, that in order to make that assessment, an expert will have to take at least a 72-hour period and assess someone. Looking at the time when he was arrested, on the 2nd, and on the 3rd, there is a certificate from Dr. Van Tonder saying that he be committed to mental assessment. And within that period, and from time of arrest and the time when that certificate was issued, you don't get the 72-hour period. And our complaint was that even if it can transpire in future, that maybe he will have to be referred to a mental hospital. But a proper procedure will have to be followed. And when a proper procedure is not followed, it goes down to the roots of fairness of a trial. And now today the court has exonerated us, and the court has vindicated us. Mr. Mafe is unlawful. The procedure which was followed was so irregular, flawed and unlawful, hence set aside.
Are you now intending to have Mr. Mafe assessed by a private psychologist or psychiatrist?
When there is no order saying that he must be referred to a mental hospital, there is no need for us to say Mr. Mafe must be referred for mental assessment. We have been saying from the onset, and Mr. Mafe said to us, and the advocate Dalimbofu SC conveyed that in court at that time when we were surprised by that certificate, conveyed to court that there is absolutely nothing wrong with Mr. Mafe. And Mr. Mafe, that was his instructions, that look, there is absolutely nothing wrong with me. And looking at the procedure which was followed, there was indeed nothing to suggest that there would be anything wrong with Mr. Mafe. So there is no call for us to say he must be assessed, because where we are standing, we still say there is nothing wrong with Mr. Mafe. Remember, the court never even greeted Mr. Mafe, never even asked, how are you view or some simple things for it to make that determination. Mr. Mafe just came to court. He never opened his mouth other than consulting to ourselves when he was in holding cells. So for anyone to say Mr. Mafe's got a mental problem is so fallacious. It's so incorrect. Hence set aside by this competent court.
Mr. Godla, why do you think that the state would want Mr. Mafe referred to Valkenberg Mental Hospital, and why do you think the district surgeon issued that report or that document to court?
Ayesha, this is a very old trick in a book. Remember, if you look at how it was done, on the first day of his appearance in court on the 4th, the charges fall under Schedule 1. But obvious, they could not furnish us with a complete charge sheet because they said they are unable to access the crime scene. But painting a very big picture and painting him in a negative light that, look, there will be a lot that will be discovered, including some explosives. Then immediately the court felt that this is a very serious case. And when they could not complete a charge sheet, even though we requested them in our correspondence dated the 7th of January, they decided not to respond. Only on Monday, when we go to court, in fact, 15 minutes before the proceedings, they said we are adding another charge. Our counsel made it clear that these proceedings were so unfair because the state came in one hand saying this person has got a mental problem. He must be committed to a mental hospital. On the other hand, they had an ammunition saying, by the way, this is an offense of terrorism. How would you say someone who is mentally ill, you say he planned a terrorism trying to attack the state? It does not make sense. That's contradictory in nature. So it was a way of trying to hold him back. But it's so sad and so unfortunate because the court did not request any full report, comprehensive report compiled by Dr. Van Tonde. And even if there was a comprehensive report, still the law says it should take place within 72-hour period. And from the date of arrest and the day of his first appearance in court, you can't get 72-hour period. In any event, that report would be subject to a challenge of court proceedings. So for us, the only reason we can state for now is that state wanted just to keep Mr. Mafe in court. It is similar to what had happened to if you still remember, our president of the old order, Mr. Verwoerd, who was stabbed by its offenders. These are old tricks. Immediately it was said that because it was an embarrassment to the government, therefore it would be better to say this person has got a mental problem. We do not know where we are standing. Where is he? What had happened? Was he kept indeed in mental hospital, or it was just a facade? They were trying to pull wool down the faces of the public, saying no, it was someone who had a mental problem, when in fact they wanted to cover up the disgrace because one was attacked in full view of the full house. That's exactly the case even here. They want Mr. Mafe. They use him as a scapegoat. He does not have a problem. Even if it can transpire in future that he might have a problem. But for now, we all do not know that. Mr. Mafe is normal. And Mr. Mafe can communicate. We consulted with him. We didn't say anything. Yes, we are not practitioners, but even the expert, medical expert, did not have time to do that assessment in terms of the law. Even the magistrate did not objectively scrutinize the evidence placed before him. It was flawed, everything.
Thank you so much for your time. And that was Luvuyo Godla, the attorney acting for Zandile Mafe.
All right, thank you so much for that update. eNCA senior reporter Ayesha Ismail in Cape Town.